Today, we're going to share 5 convincing reasons from the Bible that show Jesus wasn't a prophet. I'm pretty sure you've never heard these before.
I don't want to lie like other YouTubers and say that the 5th reason is the best one, but I promise you that each of these 5 reasons I mentioned has its own convincing logic, and you won't find this educational content taught anywhere else. Don't miss this video.
For the Christians watching this video, I'd like you to stay with us till the end, and then tell us in the comments, has anyone ever told you these things before? Let's get straight to the point and share the results of our research with you in the shortest time possible.
In the Torah, God promises Abraham that prophethood will continue in his family, and after Abraham, it is Isaac and Isaac's sons Esau and Jacob. One day, when Esau had gone hunting and returned exhausted, he said to Jacob, "Give me some of that stew." Because Esau was exhausted, worn out, starving, and near death. But Jacob didn't just give him the stew. Instead, he asked Esau to give up his birthright to Jacob first, and only then did he give Esau the bowl of stew. What I just recited is actually the exact text of the Torah as stated in chapter 25, verse 30. Let's move 2 chapters ahead to chapter 27, verse 1, on the day when Isaac had grown old and was near death. It says that Esau his son came to him, and Isaac told Esau, "Go hunt a fresh deer for me so that I may eat from it and bless you." And when Esau goes hunting, Esau and Jacob's mother comes to Jacob, tells him what happened, and says to him, "Go bring me 2 young goats so I can prepare them, and you can take them to your father and receive the blessing." Jacob says, "Esau is hairy and I am not. My father might find out." But since his father had poor eyesight, his mother suggests that he use the wool of sheep, and Jacob goes to Isaac. Isaac says, "This voice is the voice of Jacob." But after taking Jacob's hands, he mistakes him for Esau. After eating the 2 young goats that his mother had prepared, he gives the blessing to Jacob. When Esau returns from hunting deer, he tells Isaac, "After you eat, give me your blessing." But Isaac says, "Jacob has stolen it from me." And here Esau says he is truly named Jacob. In Hebrew, Jacob means one who overcomes, and in fact, he defeated Esau twice. First, when he took half of the birthright from Esau, and now when he took the blessing from Isaac. This is the text of the Holy Book that is rejecting Jesus Christ, because Jesus Christ is a descendant of Jacob and the Israelites. And based on the Holy Book, with the first reason, we were able to conclude that the prophecy of the Messiah was also based on deception. So what are we actually supposed to believe in when the text of the Holy Book itself can be critiqued by its own content? The second reason we want to tell you is very logical, and we will reject Jesus based on the Holy Book. In the genealogy in the Gospel of Matthew, it shows that Jesus Christ is a descendant of Jehoiakim. And likewise in the first book of Chronicles, page 628, let me read it to you directly from the book. It says that the sons of Josiah were his firstborn Johanan, the second Jehoiakim, the third Zedekiah, and the fourth Shallum. And the sons of Jehoiakim were Jeconiah and Zedekiah. This also confirms that Jesus is a descendant of Jehoiakim. So what is our point here? When Jehoiakim was king, a man named Baruch brought the book of the prophet Jeremiah to Jehoiakim, and Jehoiakim burned this book. And when Jehoiakim burned this book on the brazier and the news reached the prophet Jeremiah, a message from the Lord was sent to Jeremiah, and in chapter 36, page 1156, this text is written in full. Therefore the Lord says this about Jehoiakim, king of Judah, that there will be no one for him. There will be no one for him, meaning that none of his descendants should sit on the throne and seat of David's kingship. And in the Gospel of Luke chapter 1 verse 32, we see that it is written, "The angel said to her, Mary, do not be afraid. And behold, you will conceive and give birth to a son, and you shall name him Jesus. He will be great." Great, meaning he will attain lordship. And he will be called the Son of the Most High. and the Lord will give him the throne of his father David. We saw that with our arguments and discussions based on these holy books, we were able to reject Jesus for the second time. Well, in fact, the Gospel of Luke is saying that Jesus sits on the throne of David, which, as I previously referenced with those passages from Jeremiah the prophet, has been forbidden by God. No one from his lineage will sit on this throne. Let me take a short break so I can present the next 3 reasons to you in a convincing and solid manner. Meanwhile, dear viewers, please like this video, because a lot of effort has gone into the research presented in this video. And also, subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on our future research about all religions. The third reason, in Deuteronomy chapter 23 verse 3, it says that an Ammonite or a Moabite shall not enter the assembly of the Lord at all, meaning they can never become believers, let alone become prophets. And this is also confirmed in the book of Nehemiah chapter 13 verse 1, where it says that Ammonites and Moabites shall not enter the assembly of God at all. And let's return to the genealogy of Jesus in the Gospel of Matthew, which says that Boaz is the father and Ruth is the mother, and they have a son named Obed, who continues the line and legacy of Jesus. And in fact, we know that Ruth was a Moabite. As we saw, she is the mother of Obed, and this confirms her Moabite origin. And how is she an Ammonite? In this very Gospel of Matthew, we see that in the genealogy of Jesus, it says Rehoboam, the son of Solomon, is part of Jesus' lineage. And in the first book of Kings, chapter 14, verse 21, we see that Rehoboam, the son of Solomon, became king of Jerusalem at the age of 41 and reigned for 17 years, and his mother's name was Naamah the Ammonite. Is that clear? So, according to these very genealogies, Jesus is descended from the Ammonites and Moabites who, according to this very Bible, should not be allowed to be prophets at all. How beautiful did you find the third reason? Let's move on to the fourth reason. The fourth reason for rejecting Jesus Christ based on the Bible. Let's continue with the rest of verse 11 from chapter 17. Here, Jesus' disciples ask him that according to Jewish scriptures, Elijah must come first and then the Messiah. What do you think? And Jesus replies that Elijah has already come, and just as they mistreated him before, they will also mistreat the Son of Man. And the scribes, who are the disciples, then discuss John the Baptist with them, and they realize that John was actually Elijah. By the way, the edition I used for this discussion with you is the 1978 print of the Bible. It's possible that this has been removed in newer editions. But if you get your hands on the 1978 edition of the book, you'll clearly see the word Elijah right there. Now, if we continue and look at the Gospel of John chapter 1 verse 19 and see John's own testimony, this is when the Jews had sent their priests to get a confession from John about who he was. He confesses that he is neither the Messiah nor Elijah nor the one sent by Elijah or the Messiah. You can see this very clearly in the Gospel of John chapter 1 verse 19. So in fact, this Messiah who, according to the scriptures and sources I mentioned, has come is a false and lying Messiah, because Elijah has not yet come. This was the fourth reason to reject the Messiah based on their own holy book. I'm looking forward to your comments in the comment section. Let's move on to the fifth reason, which is very beautiful. I'll start the second reason with 2 beautiful stories. The first one is chapter 11 of the second book of Samuel. There, one beautiful day after having a delightful lunch, David went up to the very roof of his magnificent house, and from that elevated position above, he clearly saw a truly beautiful woman bathing. He immediately ordered that the lovely woman be brought to him, and he subsequently slept with her. And after some time, the woman became pregnant and informed David, saying, "I am pregnant, and when my husband returns from war, how can I explain this to him?" And when David wanted to sleep with her, he had been told that this woman was the wife of Uriah the Hittite, one of David's military commanders who was fighting at the front lines. And David decides to order that Uriah the Hittite be brought to him, and he tells Uriah, "Go to your house and rest." But Uriah does not go home. Instead, he sleeps with the servants and maidservants in front of David's house. This news is reported to David, so David summons Uriah again and tells him, "Let's drink wine together." He gets Uriah drunk and tells him, "Wash your feet and go home." And after that, he sends a lavish dinner to that house and its inhabitants, hoping that after dinner they might feel the need to sleep together so that the child who has been conceived and the pregnant woman can be attributed to her husband. Still, Uriah does not go home, and when he is summoned, Uriah says, "How can I go home and sleep with my wife when Israel, Judah, the ark, and my commander Joab are all at war, and your servants are fighting in the field?" And David decides to write a letter to Joab instructing him to place Uriah in a difficult position during the battle so that he would be killed. Later, Joab writes a letter to David saying that they lost the battle, but at the end of the letter, he adds that Uriah the Hittite was also killed. At first, David becomes angry at this news, but then he thanks God. He says, "God willing, we will be victorious in future battles." And now, the second story. And in the first book, chapter 22, verse 18, Samuel says that David told Doeg to inform the king that the priests who had betrayed the king, who was David's enemy and had supported David, were reported by Doeg to David's enemy, the king. And the king decided to kill all 85 of the priests, and he put to the sword all the women and animals of that city, which was called Nob. And after this was done, God reproached David, indicating that what he had done was wrong. And we see in these two stories that David was not infallible, and from a rational perspective, which I will prove to you in later videos, the infallibility of the prophets is one of the rational and established reasons. How can Jesus Christ, according to the Gospel of Matthew, be descended from this David who committed such acts? So based on these two stories from the Bible itself and the genealogy of Jesus, we can very easily reject this claim that Jesus Christ was descended from a David who, from a rational standpoint, was not infallible, while the infallibility of the prophets is one of the necessary reasons.
You can tell a lot of effort and study went into preparing these religious findings, just so they could be delivered to you in just a few minutes.
Yes, a lot of effort has gone into making this video, and many books have been studied so that viewers can easily and beautifully understand these topics. I ask the viewers to definitely like this video and subscribe to our channel so they don't miss out on our future research.
And if you have any critiques or thoughts about these reasons, after liking the video to support us, feel free to drop your opinion in the comments so everyone can benefit.